On Deadly Ground is the Big Daddy Thunberg massive environmental piece where he was director, actor and producer, earning him multiple nominations and an award for Worst Director at the Golden Raspberry Awards. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm sure it's just as prestigious as the Oscars.
Yeah.
I assume the studios had Michael Caine locked into some contractual obligations, so Alfred was stuck selling out his ass like everyone else in Hollywood. We get to see a chubby Billy Bob Thornton sound all Billy Bob like 30 years ago.
Open wide, sweetheart. And
Big Daddy method actor shows us his diverse range of emotions he displays. I can feel it.
Don't you realize that you're thought of as the greatest actor ever?
well, I'm sorry to hear that. 'Cause now I will snatch every motherfucker birthday.
Plus,
Seagal makes no efforts to hide the fact that he would shag anything and anyone for the right price.
now you're nothing but a whore.
$350,000? I'd f*** anything once.
Well, now we know his price.
$350,000? I'd f*** anything once.
A bunch of greedy, incompetent, environment-hating white men are causing fires, and Seagal arrives to bring the marshmallows. Big Daddy's big entrance is exactly as glorious as you'd expect it to be for such a majestic combat wombat. Firstly, the lesser male expresses relief that the real alpha dog has arrived on scene.
Oh, thank God.
Before the camera pans to the feet and turns around to reveal Sensei Slickback puffing on a cigar.
Because after dinner, everyone ought to have a cigar.
Within the first 5 minutes of the movie, everyone is polishing Big Daddy's little snub-nosed trouser revolver so much that it's almost as if this movie was directed by...
I'm Steven Seagal, and
It feels like high school when the cool, tough kid arrives on scene to save everyone because he's so much better than everyone else.
Hey, Forrest is here. That fire's as good as out.
Forrest, those goddamn preventers torn up the spec, but the sunbitch made me use them anyway.
It seems like a strange choice, but then I remembered...
Hey man, Steven Seagal here. He's a movie star.
Seagal assesses the situation and tells everyone to get back because shit's about to get real. When he strolls out of the fire like T-1000 and lights a cigar like Arnold
Stop being a girly man.
and then he presses a button to cause an explosion. Yeah. Everyone is cheering him and stuff, but I'm not entirely sure why. It's not exactly a high school football game, or what he actually did other than press that button, but yay, go Forrest, woo, yay, let's all polish Forrest Snob.
Very impressive, Forrest, as always.
After some celebration drinks, Seagal witnesses the abuse of a Native American woman and the physical harm to the waitress, which is acceptable, but once the hillbilly confesses that he believes the greatest treat to be a cupcake, Seagal wouldn't stand for it.
Cupcake.
Cupcake? I love the fuck out of cookies.
This bloke pushes Seagal over the edge by eating the last piece of pie,
Oh, you want a piece of this?
but it's worth it for me when Sensei goes Super Saiyan God mode and does some awesome stunts. All on his own. Seagal pushes and assaults a whole lot of stuntmen before the main bad guy shows genuine fear about what Big Daddy Huff and Puff is about to do to him. They play some patty cake before Sensei Blossom Cake drops some wisdom on the redneck and changes his life forever.
What does it take to change the essence of a man?
I need time to change.
I do too. What?
This guy tries to rope Michael Caine in for a sequel, but Caine has wisened up after being a part of this shitty movie.
You have any great ideas? Just keep them to your fucking self, okay? And leave this shit to me.
The people in town have had enough and are angry about the effects of Sensei sleeping with all of the native women. He does have powerful sperm.
We want to talk about women who fail to ovulate, and when they do, they give birth to abnormal babies. What about?
And then he has a battle with himself about greed, money, and ploughing trim.
I gotta say, I'm a little ashamed of you. I'd just like to ask you something.
I'm interested. Tell me more.
How much is enough? How much money is enough?
I got a lot of money.
Michael Caine and the Doctor from Scrubs plan to kill Forrest Seagal in an explosion, but Sensei one step ahead is onto their bullshit. He narrowly escapes before being found by some snow hobbits, which just so happens to include some young hotties. And a toothless lady who is probably pretty good at giving some sloppy gummy love. These people just saved his life and asked for his name, and instead, Seagal starts spouting some Zen wisdom nonsense.
A mouse, hiding from the hawks, in the house of Raven.
Now before we continue, a quick break to check out some awesome t-shirts. We don't have any sponsors here, so if you'd like to support the channel, think about grabbing yourself an awesome t-shirt or joining the Awesome Legends on Patreon.
Thank you for being interested in what we're doing here, and hopefully we'll be able to continue to do things that are a positive influence in the world.
Thank you, Paul. Well, thank you, Paul.
The dogs attack Sensei Squiddly Diddly because they sense a threat to the alpha of the group, and because they can smell the sexual assault allegations on his skin. Allegedly. Pocahontas stares into Big Daddy's eyes and tells the story of how Seagal, and eventually all of humanity, came into existence.
There was a time there were no people on the earth until the fifth day a man burst forth from the sacred place, full grown.
Now I don't know if that's CGI, but that is pretty damn spectacular and a beautiful backdrop to have while filming, so I'll give him props for that. It'd probably be freezing and his testicles would be the size of almonds, but a stunning backdrop. As he eye-fucks her, in his mind, Seagal plays out the off-screen private auditions he'll be having with pretty Inuit women and is suitably impressed with what is to come. The woman admits there is no one that compares to Sensei Candied Yams, and he is the chosen one.
In you, I've seen a great cock. Are you willing to discover the nature of that cock?
He goes on a spirit quest awakening thingy that, as any Seagalian would know, would not be complete without some young hot ladies dancing around with their titties hanging out. The indigenous version of a strip club scene. Multiple hot young women try enticing Sensei Cockslinger to come and shag, but that is pretty much Seagal's life on a daily basis, so nothing new here. In a stunning twist, he goes for the old lady with no teeth. Rumour has it she's quite the ball gargler, but even so, I'm proud of Sensei for turning down the young hotties and dicking some older women.
Yeah, I just,
The Doctor from Scrub kills Pocahontas' dad, which means Big Daddy's gonna have to avenge him and in return be rewarded with the daughters. Sensei Pretzel Dick draws on his years of acting wisdom and nails this emotional scene with perfect poise and timing.
Tell him. Thank you.
He sneaks away to get a taste of his reward, but before he can, the bad guys ruin the party. Everyone decides that guns suck and old school fisticuffs are the way to go. Or in Seagal's world, slapping and throwing people around. A lot of stuntmen would have suffered for this scene. Finally, we get the explanation of who Forrest Taft really is. Why is Big Daddy Kremlin the badass he is? Keep in mind, Sensei Pumpkin Farts was also the...
Anybody seen Richie? Huh?
Who is he? You want to know who he is? Sir. Try this. Delve down into the deepest bowels of your soul. Try to imagine the ultimate fucking nightmare, and that won't come close to this son of a bitch when he gets pissed.
This attractive corporate samurai insults the entire population of Alaska and anybody native to that area, including our own Sensei Igloo Cock.
Alaska's a third world country. It's just one we happen to own.
Someone tells Michael Caine that he'll be working with Seagal in another future project, and he seems absolutely ecstatic. We get some high-tech 90s floppy disk digital hacking stuff going on, before Sensei speaks about his testicles' inability to contain his 100% pure alpha manliness.
It's gonna blow. It just won't take the pressure. Time bomb, you know?
Quickly!
Quickly!
Big Daddy has had enough of staring at that young piece of trim, and enough is enough. His hog is waiting for you.
We gotta blow it, and we gotta blow it now.
Cue a random speech about all the bad stuff happening to the environment, which is completely unnecessary. But I hope you're taking notes, Greta Thunberg.
How dare you?
The passion, the delivery.
What do you think? Some angel is going to miraculously come down out of the sky and stop, say, 350 billion tons of oil from being spilled into our oceans every year?
This is what happens when you pollute the planet.
Maybe some ghost will stop all the cars from using gasoline. Maybe somehow some spirit will trip the big switch and all the technology that's been repressed for the last 70 years will suddenly be ours and it'll be a better place to live, a beautiful place.
Rather than just shooting all these guys with all the ammo he took earlier, Big Daddy Booby Traps concocts all these intricate little things to take out the henchmen, tapping into his Native American roots.
My grandmother, who surely looks pure Mohawk, and I'm pretty sure she is.
This guy has the gonads to question Sensei's genius and dies a horrible death as such a rude, ignorant swine should.
He spooked on the chopper for a second. Thought this guy was gonna be good. A Cub Scout could have found that.
Wait a minute!
Look how majestic he is riding that steed. His sharpie hairline staying stiff in the breeze. Pocahontas makes the mistake of thinking that this movie will catapult her to fame and stardom, but Seagal knows what's up.
Nothing could be further from the truth.
I want you to shut the fuck up.
I'm starting to think Sensei MacGyver is tapping into his inner Richard Dean Anderson with all these fancy little creations.
That would be good, otherwise it would be too jujun.
Pocahontas seems awfully confused and asks Seagal why he's randomly unzipping his pants and taking out his tackle.
Just gotta reach out and touch somebody.
He's back!
Now we've seen hints to how awesome Sensei Cock Blaster really is, but now we get it all laid out for us. Now we get to find out the truth.
My guy in DC tells me that we are not dealing with the student here, we're dealing with the professor. He's the kind of guy that would drink a gallon of gasoline so he could piss in your campfire. Anytime the military has an operation that can't fail, they call this guy in to train the troops, okay?
Alright mate, take it easy. Get off your knees and get your shit together, bud.
You could drop this guy off at the Arctic Circle wearing a pair of bikini underwear without his toothbrush, and tomorrow afternoon he's going to show up at your poolside with $1 million smile and a fistful of peso. This guy's a professional, you got me? If he reaches this rig, we're all going to be nothing but a big goddamn hole right in the middle of Alaska.
Are you really as good as they all say you are?
Every once in a while.
Sensei squashes Scrubs Dude, and Alaska rejoices as the rude bitch from earlier gets her comeuppance in the most stupid way possible.
Kim.
I think we should also just take a moment to rejoice in how nobody cared about offending people in the 1990s. There's no way you could say this stuff now.
Protect this entrance like it was your sister's cherry, Tonto. You're in charge here, Tonto.
Listen to me, you yellow snow-eating, welfare-collecting, redskin piece of shit. You know, Pocahontas is still available.
Billy Bob takes a moment to recognize the splendor and magnificence that is Sensei smoked turkey.
Jesus Christ, this motherfucker's good. I told you he's good, didn't I?
Yeah, he's good, and he's coming this way.
And regardless of how busy he is, Big Daddy can always find time to pull some awesome faces while he beats on some people for fun. Michael Caine reminds us again that this would no way be appropriate now, dropping lines that would make today's audiences cry for sure.
This a slow bitch you've been banging? You and me, we bought hookers better than this for $5 in Bangkok.
There's no chance any of this would make it into a script nowadays.
No way.
Thankfully, the movie finishes on a high with Sensei galloping like the handsome steed that he is, before it all wraps up with Big Papa Professor preaching about the environment again.
How many of you out there have heard of alternative engine? Engines that can run on anything from alcohol to garbage or water. Carburetors that can get hundreds of miles to the gallon, that can practically run forever. You don't know about them because if they were to come into use, they'd put the oil companies out of business. The concept of the internal combustion engine has been obsolete for over 50 years. Big business is primarily responsible for destroying the water we drink, the air we breathe, and the food we eat. But because of the oil cartels and corrupt government regulation, we and the rest of the world have been forced to use gasoline for over 100 years. They have no care for the world they destroy, only for the money they make in the process. But the plankton is dying. The law says no company can be fined over $25,000 a day.
6.5 hours later.
I ask you to bless all the people here
Some people say this speech targeting oil companies ended his career. Many others say it was his shitty movies and horrible acting. I'll let you be the judge. Well, my friends, what did you think about Big Daddy Diarrhea and all of the verbal vomit in this movie? Were you inspired by his macho yet sensitive character? Do you plan to stop driving your car around? I think we can all agree the man was a pioneer and paved the way for climate hippies everywhere.
This isn't what we want to go out and do. We know that we're causing disruption. We don't want to be out doing this, but we are desperate. We are scared. We are angry. As a young person, I'm terrified I'm going to be denied the right to grow old. I'm terrified I'm going to live in constant fear of climate disaster. I'm terrified I won't have access to food or clean water. I'm a scared little kid trying to fight for their future.
Alright, legends, it's been a blast as always. Until next time, my friends, light up a cigar if you want to look badass. Definitely have a slow motion panning up from your feet, but above all, stay awesome. Peace, legends.
Sunshine bright in the sky, and I'm free when I close my eyes. You're my muscle and my sorrow.